Hello, we are on. Welcome to A Mighty Blaze, where we always talk books, of course, but today we have something very special. We are talking books and dogs, as you can see from my little friends behind me here. My name is Trisha Blanchet. I'm a producer here at A Mighty Blaze, and I'm also the founder of a nonprofit organization called Operation Delta Dog, where we train service dogs for disabled veterans. All of the Delta dogs are rescued from shelters. So we like to say the dogs get the homes they need and the veterans get the help they deserve. And our very special guest today knows a little something about that subject of rescuing dogs. Her book is called 101 Rescue Puppies, One Family Story of Fostering Dogs, Love, and Trust. Welcome, Kathy Callahan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being on. It's a thrill.
Thank you for coming on A Mighty Blaze. We're really happy to have you. Your book came out yesterday, right?
Brand new. Yep.
Brand new.
First-time author, first-time book. This is all new to me.
Congratulations. This is a big step. This is a big week for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I was one of the very lucky people to get an early copy of this incredible book. And to say it was heartwarming really does not begin to touch the feelings in this book. Like I cried tears. I don't mind telling you. Happy tears, the good kind.
Yeah.
I thought we could start, for those who might not know, maybe you could just tell us what is fostering and why is it so prevalent and important in animal rescue today?
Yeah. So fostering, if you're a dog foster, what you're doing is giving a temporary landing spot to a homeless puppy, and you have them hanging out in your house until the humans involved have a chance to find your people, find your forever people. And so in my case, I'm often taking, I work with a few different rescues, mostly Homeward Trails Animal Rescue in Arlington, Virginia. And so they have relationships with shelters typically down in the South, and they will communicate to my rescue, these are the dogs we have who need someplace to go. Our rescue puts out feelers to people like me. Can anybody take this dog? Raise my hand, and they get to come to my house, and then we all work to figure out the right match. I'll just put some numbers on that. There are currently 3.3 million dogs who enter US shelters every year. And there are only 3,500 brick and mortar shelters. And so if you kind of figure out the math there, there's not enough space for everybody. So that's where rescues come in. There are 10,000 rescues apparently. Right? So that's what it says on the Humane Society website. So that's just a whole lot. And so those rescues are often working to take the dogs that the shelters they're just underfunded. They don't have the space. They don't have the money. They can't keep everyone. So the rescue groups go and try to pull those dogs and get them someplace where they have a much better shot at being adopted. And so then the rescue groups typically don't have space to house all those dogs. They often don't have a brick and mortar spot. And so that's where fostering comes in. So every single person who raises their hand and says, yes, I'll foster, that's saving that dog's life. And then opening up a spot on the other end at that shelter. So it's a vital part of the whole dog rescue picture. I would argue it's the most fun spot because you just get to take these dogs into your house and have fun with them. Your whole job is to have fun with these dogs. And so you snuggle them, you cuddle them, you help them feel that the world is a good place. Sometimes you do a little bit of, fattening them up and getting them healthier, but basically you're just hanging out with them until their people are found.
You're selling it well. Now the title is 101 Rescue Puppies, but reading this book, I was getting the feeling that perhaps the number is a bit higher. What's the actual tally nowadays?
It was hard because the truth is that number is always changing because we are constantly fostering. We are actually right now at 175. The 101 we picked because it seemed to indicate more than 100.
Dalmatians, etc.
Exactly. It just makes you think about it. So the answer is, wow, that's a lot. The reason we get to 175, our family gets to 175 so fast, is that my specialty is kind of the nursing moms. So that sometimes can mean you've just taken in 10 new dogs to your house because it's the mom and the 9 puppies. So that's how our numbers get so fast, so big, so fast.
You've been doing this a long time.
Yep, since
How,
2012.
2012. How and why did you get started doing fostering?
So my first foray into helping out with rescue dogs was just volunteering at the local shelter, which was nice, but I wanted to do more. So I would go there and walk dogs, but I wanted to have a bigger impact and I wanted to do more. And so in 2012, we lost one of our dogs, and you guys, all you dog people know how that feels. Your house doesn't feel right anymore. And even though we always have multiple dogs, you still just feel, it just doesn't feel right. And so somebody said, you should foster, because we knew we weren't ready to add a new permanent pack member yet. So like, oh, we could foster. So we took in 2 puppies. I actually told them our family's concern with, like everyone's concern, is that you would get too attached and then it's going to be too hard to give them up. So I actually asked them.
Foster fail, right?
A foster fail, yeah. So we asked them for dogs that we wouldn't like, which of course doesn't actually exist, but they gave us tiny dogs. We tended to be at that time big dog people. So they gave us 2 little Boston Terrier mixes. We loved them. It was so fun. And I just watched, our family, the kids were 12 and 15 at the time, and it was just something to do all together. No screens, outside, always something to talk about, grounded in the moment, lots of funny stuff, lots of cute stuff. And undergirding all that is the idea, plus we're doing something nice, not only for the dog, but for the people who end up with that dog. So that little picture, we just got hooked. So those are the first 2, and we are now on 175.
And going, I imagine, right?
Yeah, actually right now I am looking for a pregnant mom. So,
oh boy.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll happen this fall.
It seems like the shelters are sort of empty right now due to quarantine adoptions and things. So
it's this has been a very tough year for everyone for a million reasons, but for shelter dogs, this has been fantastic because people rightly understand that dog things aren't canceled. You can still do all the wonderful dog things. You can cuddle to your heart's content, be very close, no mask required. You can be outside a lot, which is always great for everybody's mental health. You can take walks, you're doing exercise. So people, and the main reason a lot of people don't get a dog is reasonably enough, they're not home enough. And it really is a bummer for a dog if the family is gone all the time. Suddenly, all those people who their schedule didn't allow them to be a great dog owner because they were truly gone all the time, they're not gone now. So it has been a great time for tons of people to adopt dogs and puppies, and they have, and it's just fantastic. I know our shelter, our rescue that I work with, has been able to take so many more at-risk dogs from the shelters than they ever have before, which is great.
And I felt your book was just so well timed right now because I needed something positive. And so many books about the rescue world, animal rescue, are just, they're hard to read because they're understandably sad stories and things that happen. And yours is, I was sort of expecting that. And then I was like, oh, wait, this was something totally different. This was extremely uplifting.
Yeah.
Did you design that? Was that on purpose, or is that just how it happened?
So that's not really on purpose. It's just that is my experience. So I do feel like I'm kind of in the sweet spot of the dog rescue story. I am where the dogs are safe now because they've gotten to me and they're going to hand off into their new great life. So what I report on in my book, I'm just reporting what happened, but what happens in my house is all great, happy stuff. And so that is particularly fun to share. I didn't time it for this horrible year, but I feel so happy being able to give people a little bit of joy like this. What I did notice, when I first started posting about puppies to get homes on Facebook and stuff like that, I was really just shamelessly doing it to get homes. But then I found out that all sorts of people who had zero interest in dogs or having a new dog were following the stories of these litters as they come in, follow the journey of what happens as they come. They watch them grow from the little 4-week-old to the, wildly confident 8-week-old. And that's fun for people. And I didn't realize that was fun for everyone and not just me. And that's kind of how it turned into a book, because that is fun for everyone. This is just all those happy journeys of all those puppies who've come into our house, gotten cuddled up, had fun times, and then had it off with great folks. And in between, brought us a lot of joy, brought our neighbors, our friends, everybody who comes over to help socialize. It's a happy thing. And back to the sad stuff, it is true that there is some sad stuff that happens in rescue. And sometimes people are disappointing. But the truth is,
that's an understatement. Yeah.
I mean, it's true, but I just don't focus on that part of it. And I focus on the part I can do something about, and the good part. And the other thing is that for each of those dogs, let's say one of the dogs in my book ended up with me because somebody wasn't great to them. 24 people then have stepped in to get that dog into a new life. Not just me, it's the people at the shelter who reached out for rescue to come get them. It's the transporters, the people who gave up their Saturday to drive that dog up here. It's my adoption coordinator who reads all the applications and posts them online. It's the guys who help out at the adoption center giving them shots. 24 great people, one bad apple started that. That is a good ratio. And so, yeah, my book it's positive because it's reflecting what I see.
And the other thing that really struck me is, although the book is ostensibly about dogs and puppies and the occasional cat, it also was so much about the people and the people that these animals helped. So I was hoping you could tell us just about a couple of those people that you mentioned in the book.
Yeah. So that is, I for sure got into this for the dogs, and I've been stunned by how rewarding and fun the people part is. I feel super connected to these people. These were strangers a minute ago, and now it's like we're family because we shared this puppy, and in terms of our dogs, these fosters go out and change lives, they do that the way all dogs do. It's not that my dogs are special. This is what dogs do, but I talk about, I will show you. So this guy, this girl, this is Twinkle. And little Twinkle there was this lovely mom who came and talked about, she had emailed me ahead of time that she was a little worried that her son was getting into that sort of preteen area, and it starts to get hard, navigating that kind of stuff. Lots of screens. She's worried about, just those influences, and she just thought maybe a dog would be probably a smart thing to do for the upcoming years. Absolutely true. So I get these. So they got this puppy, and I for years I was getting pictures like this of this boy with that dog that did exactly what she was hoping it would do. And then one of the other ones I talk about in here is one of our moms was just beautiful. So this is Lulu. And gorgeous dog. And she went to this woman who was actually 80. I thought she was like 65. She's a friend of a friend, and she was just fantastic. She was totally a dog person, ready for her dog, got it. And the dog ended up having a little bit of separation anxiety, which was very challenging to work through. But she did it. She was 80. She did it. She got a trainer. She got the vets involved. And what that dog, she loved her so much. And she had to move from her house of 40 years into a retirement community. And she would write me about how she couldn't have done it without that dog, and that it was just the two of them. And, when you get notes like that over and over and over again, you end up in the middle of this circle of joy, that if I weren't fostering, all that stuff might be happening somewhere else, but I wouldn't know about it. And so it's lovely.
And I have to give a shout out to the photography in this book, which I at first assumed was professional photography,
Nope.
and then learned that it was all you. Look at these puppy butts. I don't know if you can see that. So cute. I mean, it's just one after the other. Little black puppies. So many. I mean, if you want some puppy pictures, this is the place to go. The other thing that I noticed immediately almost is that you're not doing this alone. This is a team effort, not just with the shelter and all the volunteers, but in your immediate household. It seems like your husband and your two daughters played a big role. So can you tell us a little bit more about what they did?
And, I'm sure you could foster just by yourself. And in fact, right now, it would be great company if you're living by yourself to have foster a dog. For me, though, what has made it so fun is that it's something that we all do together. And the big shout out really has to go to Tom, my husband, who is just, none of this could happen without Tom. He is so fun. He is, I could be bitter about this, but he is every dog's favorite. Like he just gets on the floor, he rolls around with them, they go crazy for him. And, without that, if I were just the crazy person bringing dogs into our house all the time, one could easily resent the person doing that, but they're all crazy like I am, and they're happy to have all of this happening. And so everyone just pitches in. And it doesn't feel like pitching in. Claire, my younger one, was saying the other day, well, I mean, really, it's not like we had to do the work. And it doesn't feel like work, but it's super important what they did, because they all cuddle these dogs, interact with these dogs. That ends up teaching them more than you can imagine. And they had their friends over all the time. So having all those friends stream in and socialize these puppies is super important. And it was fun for the girls to have that to offer to their friends. I have my book club come over. Anyway, it is absolutely a family effort, and it's what makes it really fun for us.
And you mentioned the empty nest syndrome, which I'm about to enter very, very soon. So you were saying fostering is a great way to help empty nest syndrome.
I mean, honest to goodness. So we actually did when we first had, and when our first daughter left for college, we immediately replaced her with 9 puppies from under a porch in West Virginia. When daughter number 2 left, I was like, okay, some people get a puppy when this happens. Been there, done that. So I got a pregnant dog, my first pregnant dog then. So that was a great distraction. And what I was looking for was just something to show that there was new, interesting, fun, different things on the other side of having the kids at home. And it was true. And honestly, now Tom and I, it's a huge thing that we share and that we do together and we talk about all the time, would probably bore everyone else. But the two of us, we can talk about these dogs forever, and it's just fun. It gives us something to do and feel good about.
And I've decided that your neighbors in your town are the luckiest people on earth, because you regularly host, I don't know what you call them, doggy visiting parties or something. Yep. So you'll just post on Facebook, hey, come on over and visit puppies today, and people can just show up.
Yeah.
I mean, how and why?
Tragically, right now, that can't happen.
Right. Well, yeah.
But traditionally, that's for both the people and the dogs. But it's largely for puppies to socialize a puppy. A puppy has a socialization window that starts to close around 16 weeks. Before then, that puppy should meet 100 different people. And just because you want that puppy to not be surprised by anything in life. You want that puppy to just be used to seeing new things. So that's part of what I'm doing, is I want them to hear different voices and meet different kinds of people and watch people who move differently and all that kind of stuff. So I do invite people over. It's also just fun to be able to give that to people. It's fun to get, it's not normal to be able to lie around with a bunch of puppies on top of you. And it's normal for us, but I love to be able to share that with people. And I definitely, moms will text me and just say, my daughter's having a tough day. Can we come over? And it's so great to be able to share that with people. And it's great for the puppies. So there are things that I'm careful about. Like I don't let kids, if I want everyone sitting on the floor if they're going to pick up puppies. Puppies are wriggly. Bad things can happen. So I want everyone on the floor if they're going to be picking up. And then we have rules about shoes and such, because we don't want disease brought into these puppies who aren't yet vaccinated. So, there are things like that we worry about, but basically it's good fun for everyone.
Now, it is also, we'll say, not all butterflies and rainbows. You have a very funny chapter in here about poop, which I won't spoil because you really have to read it. I think I was crying.
I have to read that one, yeah.
About one morning when you came down and what you found. You just wrote about it really funny way. So do you have any advice for people who might be thinking about getting into fostering?
Yep, I really do. There is something for everyone in fostering. If you want to give it a go, if you like dogs and you want to give it a go, there's a broad range of possible fostering situations. You do not have to jump in and take a nursing mom and the 10 puppies that they have. I think there's a wide range. I do have on my website frequently asked questions about fostering. And so if you really are thinking about it, you can go to my website, click on FAQs for fostering, and I kind of go into detail about this. But for example, the easiest foster would be if a dog comes in, if some family decides they're allergic to a dog or something, and they give that dog up. That dog's used to living in a house, used to being with people, used to being walked, housebroken. You can pretty much, that's kind of a plug and play foster. You can bring that one in. And one of the things that can be really fun is if you have a playful young dog who would love company, but you're kind of not ready to have 2 dogs, you're giving your dog a sleepover for a few weeks. That's going to be so fun for everyone. And they can play. So there are lots of different kind of situations. There are old dogs that are easy, or if you're really interested in training and behavior and stuff, you can take in a dog who has some issue. Maybe a dog's really difficult on leash or something like that. And you can help work with that dog to make that dog more adoptable, which is hugely important. So there's a wide range of different kind of fosters that they need. And you can foster once a year, you can foster constantly. There's something for everybody. And so if you contact your local shelter or rescue and just kind of say, look, I'm looking into this, they will help hook you up.
And is there anything that would prevent someone from being a foster? Like another certain kind of pet in the home? Or?
Well, our pack, one of the reasons we got addicted to fostering was watching our pack work its magic with all the fosters that come in. So we always have many dogs. And so currently we have 3. When we first started fostering, we had 2. We have had 4 in the middle. And our pack welcomes each of these new fosters. And it is an amazing thing to see. Sometimes dogs can convey much faster than people can. You're safe. It's good here. And that's really the function that our dogs have. The minute we bring in any new, timid, scared dog into our pack, our dogs, seriously, we can watch it happen, are just like, no, you're good. It's going to be great. And then they're playing, and then it's fun for our pack too. Everybody's playing and have a great time. Now, that's not true for everybody. And so you need to know, or at least contemplate what you think your pack's going to be like. If you have a dog who's super tricky with other dogs, you're probably not going to foster. But maybe your dog is great with females, but not with males. So then just taking a female, you can think through the situation. We have cats too, and it's just fun. We just like to see all that. But you can ask a lot of questions. The group you work with will help assess do you have a fence? Do you not have a fence? Are you home all day? Or you're not home all day? Do you have kids? Everyone wants a successful placement. And so you want to lean on your experts to place the right dog with you the first time. Then as you do it, you're going to get good at knowing what works for you. And plus what gives you the most joy too. And then you can kind of seek that out.
It looks like we have a question from the audience. I will try to read without my glasses here. Has Kathy ever fostered a dog who could not find their forever family? Or do all of the dogs get placed?
So that people do worry about that. They think, wait, if I foster, will I be stuck with a dog, forever? That has just never happened to us. The shortest we've ever had a dog is 2 hours. And the longest was 3 months. So that was the closest we got to it being a really long situation. Partly, we live outside of Washington, D.C. So Virginia, Maryland, D.C. is a very heavily populated area. Lots of people looking for dogs. So there is fast turnover here. So I think if you take in a dog who has a behavioral problem, and the shelter's not going to give you that if you're a new foster, but if you volunteer for a dog like that, then typically that you're kind of in it for a longer haul. And those are my heroes, is the people who, and there are people who specialize in that, who were helping a dog work through something. Maybe it's resource guarding, maybe it's being difficult with men, something. Those are my heroes because that's a lot of work. It sometimes means a lot of time. Then you're that much more attached to this dog. And then you have to give them up. And so that is, I have to say, those are my heroes, that they do that, and it does work, but it takes a lot of patience. Mine, I get the cute puppies and the beautiful moms. They come through and we find amazing homes for them, often my friends nearby, and it all works out pretty quickly.
You make it sound so easy.
It's fun.
We actually use fosters at Operation Delta Dog quite a lot. So there's a couple situations. We have a very small facility, so sometimes we have a great candidate come in for service dog work, but we just can't start them in training yet.
Right.
So our fosters will take them just for whatever period of time.
Yep.
And sometimes we get a great service dog candidate who is just too young, because we tend not to start training until they're about a year. So in that case, the fosters take them in for a few months or 6 months or whatever it happens to be until they can hit that mark where they're able to start training. They are lifesavers, our fosters. They are amazing. And in fact, I have to give a shout out to everyone at Operation Delta Dog. We have these trainers who are astounding. We have staff members who are not trainers, but equally astounding. Board members. We have so many volunteers in so many different areas. And of course, the financial donors who keep us running. These are
never
all,
happens without the money people.
No, these are all the people who make the magic happen, and they're incredible.
How
and
long
I know you mentioned, sorry, what?
How old is Delta Dogs? How long have you been doing that?
About 8 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you mentioned Homeward Trails, Animal Rescue, and I know Big Fluffy Dog is another of your rescues that you work with.
So,
yep. Yeah, and my partner in crime, producer Kimberly, is posting these links as we talk. So if anyone wants to help out, you can learn more about those rescues. You can learn more about Operation Delta Dog. And also our big annual fundraiser is coming up called the Walk and Wag for Veterans. We do it every year on Veterans Day weekend. Of course, this year being what it is, we cannot get together to do our walk, but it's virtual, which means you can do it from anywhere in the world, literally. So you can click on those links. Yeah, you do what you can this year, right? We're all just doing the best we can.
Right.
And of course, visit your local bookseller to get a copy of this great book. It is just what you need in these times right now. Trust me. Thank you, Kathy, for all that you do and for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it and I really enjoyed it.
And thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time on A Mighty Blaze. Keep reading. Bye.